Have you ever wondered where I'm supposed to live after 70, maybe? You've spent decades imagining a peaceful old age, surrounded by your children and grandchildren, or maybe you dream of a quiet retirement where you can finally prioritize your own comfort. But here's the big question few people dare to ask out loud: whether living with your children is automatically the best option, or can it the next few minutes? We will dive into the reality that so many elderly people face in silence. We will explore the unspoken tension that exists in multi-generational households, the guilt of choosing life alone, and the reasons why a nursing home is not always the scary last step, as you might imagine if you have ever wondered if your illusions about family life might be causing you. I continue. I want to know who watches this video and who cares about this topic. If you've been wondering where you're going to live, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I really want to know where we all stand on this topic. Old age comes silently, oftentimes interrupting our lives with little things rather than going through dramatic changes. One day you feel great, you organize your work and travel. The next day you realize that the steps are steeper, or you're a little more tired than usual. Literally, gradually, the question arises of how and where I want to spend this stage of my life. This is a sensitive topic that many people avoid because it touches on deep emotions, dignity of independence, loneliness, and pent-up desire to be recognized by those we love and care about. We often assume that living with our grown-up children is a real expression of family love. We imagine warm conversations, daily closeness, and unwavering support. But, as the philosopher Arthur we point out Schopenhauer, the illusion can be a major cause of human suffering. The powerful illusion is that old age automatically guarantees love, the unwavering respect and care of our children. We are not here to blame or judge someone's family situation. Life is demanding for adult children. There are bills to pay, professional responsibilities of the child to raise, endless household chores. But for aging parents, there is an almost instinctive desire for reciprocity. I have taken care of them for decades. Maybe you said, won't they return the favor now that I need a friend? However, this brings us to the harsh reality that family closeness does not necessarily thrive under the same roof. Sometimes forced cohabitation, or solely for logistical reasons, leaves everyone exhausted or disappointed. Parents wonder why conversations are rare, and adult children wonder why they fail to meet the scenarios of living with children, living alone, or considering a retirement home. We will share real testimonials from parents who have been faced with these questions. We will highlight the main philosophical reflections, and we will offer you a conclusion on how to find greater tranquility, whichever path you choose. In the end, you will see that the real question may not be, should I dignified and authentic? This is an important distinction that can change your future in ways you never expected. But before we go any further, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and click on its notification bell if you enjoyed this thoughtful discussion on deep questions in life. Believe me, we have more ideas that you should not miss. One illusion of family life. Many parents dream of spending their old age surrounded by their children and grandchildren, like a never-ending family feast. Media often showing 3 generations sitting around a table, laughing and talking. The picture is captivating. Not unfortunately, the reality is often more complicated. Today's adult children have busy lives. They balance careers, raising children, and everyday challenges. Even though they love their parents wholeheartedly, their time is limited. Their attention is divided by phone notifications, work problems, social events, and countless tasks that dominate modern life. So what happens when elderly parents move to live with them, hoping to receive ongoing care or have a constant conversation? They can benefit from courteous service and basic help. Shopping helps with Homework, family dinners, but often they feel invisible in a busy household. The corner of the sofa instead becomes a place to wait instead of a place to exchange stories. Warmly, the grandchildren walk past them wearing headphones, immersed in their digital. Tomorrow, what about elderly people? They may feel abandoned even though they are physically present in the family home, as Schopenhauer reminds us. It is dangerous to assume that everyone around us can provide for our emotional needs. Children may not realize how much their parents need meaningful relationships. Parents may not realize how short their children's time and energy are. Type 2 in the comment field if this is talking to you or someone you know. Otherwise, type 3. Your input will help us determine if this situation is common or a step. Let's take a real-life example of a widowed mother moving in with her daughter and her family. She imagines a long chat over a cup of coffee, helping her grandchildren with homework and daily close relationships. A month goes by and she finds that her daughter leaves work early, comes home exhausted, that her daughter-in-law is kind but quiet, and her grandchildren are almost never took her eyes off their screens during the day. She was alone in front of the television. Even dinner was often eaten in a hurry or in a few sit-ins. Someone had to answer her emails. Others disappeared to complete their tasks. There were no violent arguments or shouts, yet the mother felt more alone than in her old house. Physically, she was the center of everything, but emotionally, she was on the outskirts. How can I feel more isolated here, under the same roof with my family, than when I lived alone? He asks himself. Schopenhauer's view. True love does not require a constant present need of each individual for independence of space and daily rhythm. When you impose a way of life on people without taking into account their personality, actual schedules, and emotional capacities, you risk creating loneliness that you want to avoid. If you are considering living with your grown-up children not in accordance with my ideals, will I feel comfortable if in reality I spend more time alone than with other people? Will I be able to express my needs, or will I secretly hope that they notice me to guilt for wanting to live separately? Now, let's see the other side of the coin. Prefer to live alone than with your children. For many parents, independence is not a there is also a sense of guilt. Am I selfish for not living with my children? Are they going to interpret my decision as a rejection of their help or presence? Some people are afraid of society's judgment. Why choose to live alone? Don't you want to be part of your family? From a practical point of view, living alone can give elderly people the freedom to maintain their routine. You can get up anytime you want, to eat food as you wish, arrange your furniture as you wish, and enjoy the hidden pleasure in controlling your environment. It can also take care of your emotional well-being, because you are no longer a secondary actor in the lives of others. You are the main character in your own space. Imagine a man who has lost his wife and is urged by his adult son to live with her as a friend. The father hesitates. He loves his family. A small apartment, not far from his son's house. He is alone there, but not lonely. He can still enjoy Sunday lunches at his son's house and attend events hosted by his grandchildren, but in the end he will return to his own nest, a space that makes him feel whole, unfettered, or dependent. Schopenhauer's reflection. Pain often arises when we struggle with the reality of our ever-changing situation, or when we overly idealize a particular setting by embracing the freedom to choose separate space. You can prevent your individuality from fading away slowly. Wait, you may be thinking, what if I have mobility problems or need help in everyday life? Even in cases like this, there are creative solutions. Hire a part-time caregiver, coordinate visits from your loved ones, or choose a retirement home that respects autonomy. Living alone does not mean being completely isolated, but still having the right to shape one's environment according to one's own nature. Three realities of nursing homes that are often misunderstood. Now, let's take a look at we discuss topics that are taboo. Nursing homes, or facilities for the elderly. For many people, the thought of moving into a nursing home brings fear and sadness. They imagine it as a last resort, a place to forget. Cultural discourse often equates it to the inability of the family to take care of their own family. But is this perception always accurate? Let's physical difficulties that make his daily life difficult. I will not spend my last days trapped in a place where no one cares about me. He said, however, as his health problems worsened, his children kindly assured him that a special environment could provide him with more comfort, safer living conditions, and a sense of community. Initially, he was frightened by this idea. He imagined that his new environment offers care daily, activities in a social gathering place, and the opportunity to make friends who face similar challenges. He even reconnects with an old acquaintance. Suddenly, he exchanges anecdotal stories instead of sitting alone. No, not everything is perfect. Not all nursing homes are well run, and some obviously need improvement in terms of facility staff or general. In the living room, his children still visit him, but their visits seem more sincere, more affectionate, because everyone knows he receives regular care. A major caveat: not all nursing homes are created equal. If you consider this option, do research, ask questions, read reviews, talk to the families of residents. Some structures really foster a sense of community, others may be purely institutional. Schopenhauer noted that accepting the constant evolution of life can bring peace. If you consider nursing homes as punishment, you will hate every minute of it. But if you see it as an opportunity to stay safe, getting professional support, and making new friendships, it can be a very dynamic choice. For unspoken hopes and myths. In return, one of the deepest wounds that elderly parents experience is the feeling of having been decades. I gave everything for my children, didn't I deserve the same thing? They remember the sleepless night savings for their studies, personal sacrifices, but the current pace of life rarely corresponds to the reciprocity. Children are not always ungrateful. Oftentimes they are overwhelmed by the pressures of modern life. Hectic schedules, financial difficulties, emotional exhaustion. Love is still there, but more often expressed through quick phone calls, quick dinners, or monthly visits, rather than daily devotion. When aging parents interpret this as rejection, bitterness quietly grows. Schopenhauer reminds us that disappointment is a clash between hope and reality. If you secretly hope that your children will reciprocate your sacrifice for decades, and that this reward must be constant attention and living together, you risk having great disappointments. The realization sometimes your adult children do not like you, they just live their lives. The attention you give them gives them the basis they need to be independent. This independence can generate emotional and physical distance. It is a natural process and not necessarily a moral mistake on their part. This does not mean that your feelings are invalid. You may feel neglected, or the question is how long you will allow resentment to disturb your peace of mind. Reaching emotional maturity often means letting go of the idea that acts of love will always be reciprocal, especially after decades and when roles have changed. 5 dependencies and self-erosion. Other hidden dangers arise with age. The line between asking for help and losing yourself can travel, but does that mean you no longer have a say in how you spend your days? Too often parents quietly relinquish all decision-making power as they move in with their children. The last, with good intentions, can start making all the decisions: what time mom gets up, what dad eats, what TV channels to watch, how to make the bed day after day. No more homework, no more tasks to run. But as time went on, a new feeling of emptiness appeared. I didn't live my life, I lived outside of other people's schedules. Elderly people stopped asking for little attention stopped expressing their opinions because they didn't want to interfere with Schopenhauer's wisdom. True freedom is an inner state of self-mastery, and not just you risk psychological confinement. Sometimes you can maintain your independence in a shared household if your family values your opinions and you feel comfortable expressing your wishes. Other times, maintaining your independence may mean living alone or looking for a supportive environment, including some senior facilities where you can still choose how to spend your day. 6. Is there a right answer? Considering all of these scenarios, living on myself, what is the right solution for me? The honest answer is that there is no one-size solution. Each path has its own potential advantages and disadvantages, determined by financial situation, health status, family dynamics, and personal temperament. Living with your children can provide cost-sharing, closeness, and a sense of belonging to immediate family, but this runs the risk of aggravating frustration if personality, schedules, or emotional can lead to isolation. If social ties are not maintained, or if health problems become too severe to handle on their own, nursing homes or shelters for the elderly provide professional care, social activities, and ease the burden on the family. However, extensive research needs to be done to ensure suitability. The key is to be honest with yourself and those close to you. Are you someone who values your personal space? Do you enjoy social interaction and want to be part of a community? Or you need medical help? Every day, do you feel comfortable as your adult children see and help you in vulnerable moments? The second important question arises: what illusions I hold dear that are no longer useful to me? Maybe you think that living with your children is the only sign of a successful family. Or maybe you think living alone always means loneliness. Or you think a nursing home means you have been discarded. Challenging this illusion opens the door to more nuanced possibilities. Small interruptions. If you are still here and consider this conversation is interesting, let us know by leaving a small comment. Type for if you are reconsidering your own housing situation or that of your loved ones, and if this does not apply to you personally, press 5. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. See you in the next video.